Thank you, Denny, for sharing those words with us. Let us be in prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Here we are already on the other side of Christmas. It's so hard to believe. And on the threshold of a new year, 2020. A few nights ago, many of us gathered here in community in this sanctuary to celebrate Christmas during our candlelight service. What a beautiful evening. It always is. The atmosphere of wonder and of beauty, family and friends gathered together, music and readings, mystery and awe, love and fellowship. Christmas Eve is so very special. For many of us, it marks a moment when we put aside our hectic lives for a little while, put aside our to-do lists that perhaps we haven't even accomplished all of yet, to settle into this place, into this space. If only for an hour or so, to listen, to hear, to see, to know, to feel the presence of mystery that we can only express with awe and wonder. Words can't possibly express the depth of what we feel. We are touched within. The moment stirs our hearts and penetrates our souls, and we are left with the presence of peace and a deep down in your heart love. We are moved. And whether we come because we always have, it's been part of our routine year after year, or just because we decided to come this one time, something happens in here when we gather together. Our traditions tell us that, as we just heard from Denny, that our celebrations are about the Word becoming flesh and dwelling among us. God breaking through all that we created to separate from God and joins us in every moment of our living. That is what our Christmas celebrations are all about. But as Richard Rohr says, we're not just talking about waiting for this little baby Jesus to be born. That already happened 2,000 years ago. In fact, we're welcoming the universal Christ, the cosmic Christ, he says, the Christ that is forever being born in the human soul and into history. Our Christmas celebrations are not only about remembering an historic place and time, but about discovering the here and the now, the presence of Jesus' Spirit in and among us today. This very moment, right here and now, happening within us and around us. That's what keeps the Christmas story alive. It's just not about some time a long time ago, but it's about today, even in this moment. What is the mystery of the Word that dwells among us but life? The ever-growing, ever-unfolding, ever-perfecting, unending presence of fulfillment. The Word is life, the Scripture says, and that life is light that casts out the darkness. The light that reveals what lurks in the shadows, that dispels negativity and fear. Yes, the Word did come to dwell among all creation then and dwells among us now as life and light that waits to become incarnate in us as well. The indwelling presence of God in us and all creation is every part of the Christmas story, you see, that becomes the gift of Jesus, the Christ, alive and at work within us today. If we are willing to receive that truth, that acknowledge that truth, that indeed sets us free. Free from our overanalysis of it all, free from our doubts, free from our fears, free from our prejudices and our closed-mindedness. That is the essence of Christmas celebrations. The gift of our awareness that what has been given is the life and the light that shines into our daily lives, offering us hope, strength for our journeys, joy and love in our challenges, peace in our fears. And gosh, we need a really good dose of that light and life in these days, in our discernment of right and wrong, good and bad, and what is truth. We keep a flashlight, and maybe some of you do as well, beside our bed at night in case we need to get up. And a few nights this past week, I needed to use that flashlight so as to not step on the cat or the dog when I got out of bed. A few years ago, I mistakenly decided to walk into this room we call the parlor. There was something on my desk I wanted to get, and I didn't feel the need to turn the light on because there was enough, light, dim light coming through the window. And so I walked straight ahead, but I forgot that I had shifted some furniture around. And there was this big, old, heavy wooden chest that we use as a coffee table, and I walked right into that and carried a bruise on my shin for a few weeks after that. But I realized that I'm not going to do that anymore. I should just turn the light on or take a flashlight with me. It's not that big deal. Light is a wonderful thing. Lately, and I shared some of this recently with you over the past, that I've just been, intrigued more and more with the sky at night. And early in the morning, as I've told you, I take my dog out for a walk, and especially when the stars are bright in the sky. And it's just an amazing sight, more than you can count. And I've even begun doing it in the evenings, as long as it's not terribly cold. I might not be doing this when it's 10 degrees, but recently it's been okay and bearable. And I bundle up, and we have these big bales of hay stacked over in this one area on the farm. And even if the light gets triggered off the barn to kind of diffuse some of the starlight, I'm able to go up there where those bales of hay are, and I can lean back and just look up at the sky for just a while and embrace the wonder and the awe. It's just amazing. And as you look up and you begin to just allow your eyes and your gaze to just hold it for a while, it becomes a haze of light as more and more stars become visible. I just learned this past week that my favorite constellation, maybe you saw this, Orion. Yeah, Orion. So it's those three stars. That's the only reason I know what it is, because those three stars are very extinguishable, or distinguishable. Oh gosh, they're not extinguishable, are they? We know that the one we think is extinguishing. They say that Betelgeuse, the one that is the red star, the super red star, is dimming. And lo and behold, I observed it myself since I was a kid, and we used to go skiing. And I remember driving home and seeing Orion in the sky, and always marveled at the star pattern and watched that over time. So this fact, though, that the astronomers say is dimming is quite fascinating. And they think that perhaps it might be that eventually it's turning within and then it will explode and be bright like the moon and shine even in the day. But they say that perhaps that might not even happen for some time yet, perhaps a long time as stars take to do things. But it's amazing. And so on our way home last night, actually, from Harrison, I saw that Orion was fixed over Keoka Lake, and I asked Ted to pull over, and we got out of the car and just stood there at the beach for a moment and looked at this incredible thing and just took it all in, this extraordinary phenomenon. When I learned about the star dimming, though, that's why I went off a little bit on that. This is what it brought to mind, this inner light of ours, and how sometimes it does dim within us when we're faced with countless different circumstances in our lives, and perhaps doubts and fears, worries. Light, whether physical or the inner light of awareness, helps us discern what lies around and ahead of us, even more so when the challenges of life wane our confidence and threaten our energy in the face of much of what comes hurling at us in these days. How do we hold on to that light and keep it glowing? In the writing, I Will Be Light by Matisiu, it comes through the support of one another. And he says, lighting the flame of our common chalice, real or symbolic, the light within us, is a powerful reminder that we cannot sustain ourselves by ourselves. We are not enough individually, he goes on, and enclaves of like-minded people are not enough. We need each other to share the wisdom of lived experience, to remind each other to keep learning, to love each other through the inevitable failures and eventual success of our resistance. We need to be together. I think we know that at heart. To challenge each other, to support one another, for the light within us to continue to shine and grow in brightness. We need to do these things. And how much brighter can our future be when we choose to shine the very best of ourselves into the world? Like the clear night sky that becomes a glow of starlight, how much brighter can our gifts of light shine when we shine together? One of my favorite quotes is from Mother Teresa, who once said, "A candle loses nothing of itself when it lights another." It's true. And like the beauty of the increasing candlelight that we witnessed here on Christmas Eve, indeed it dispels the darkness and radiates the promise that together we can shine the light of truth on the darkness of our world. That side by side we can brighten the shadows and draw out wrongdoing. With one another we can and must glow ever brighter, setting the world on fire with the word that is love, that is light, that is life, that is truth. So that light that we each have in here, the light that we have been given as a gift to share and to spread to others, we need to ask ourselves what we're doing with that light today. How are we using our light to make a difference, individually and as a community? We probably all remember that song, "This Little Light of Mine," we knew growing up. What good is it, the song says, if you hide it? What purpose does it serve if we keep it to ourselves? The greatest gift that we have been given is the light that came to dwell among us and dwells within us, longing to burst forth in brilliance and radiance. That's how the Christmas gift intends to change the world, through us. Let your light shine, and your light, and yours, and yours, and yours. Let's let our lights shine so that it does. Amen.